My name's Dylan Blight. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Apex Predators, ExplosionNetwork.com's Apex Legends podcast. Joining me to discuss Season 5 today, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here. Where are we dropping?
Fucking hot dropping, wherever wherever that is. That's where we're going. This is the first proper episode. And what a way to start it. We're going to start by breaking down some of the key big things that have changed or been added or whatever that in Season 5. But just overall, how are you feeling about the season so far? Because obviously, map change, lots of different things that we're about to cover. Are you like, no, I hate this, let me go back to World's End or World's Edge? Or
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting from a story perspective. Obviously, there's been some interesting gameplay changes. Certain weapons have been removed and that kind of thing. But I'm enjoying Season 5 so far. Got my first win the other day. So but it's going pretty well so far, I think.
Yeah. I'm very keen for all the story stuff because I think pretty much Season 5 is in a lot of ways the first season of where Respawn's going to start taking the story stuff a lot more. Not to say they weren't like treating it serious before, but like making it a lot more integral to the actual game and like doing more with it. Because I feel like they started noticing people were caring a lot more about the story and they put in place a lot of the characters and they'd started teasing all these things. And instead of being like an Overwatch where they don't really do a lot of story stuff apart from in they like cinematic stuff and whatever else, I feel like Respawn's going to try and build upon it and make it a bigger part of the game. And obviously the quests and whatever else this season's the start of that. There's lots of interesting questions about Loba, which we'll get into straight away. So the big thing of Loba is like, imagine a world where she does get what she wants and she kills Revenant. Well, they're obviously not going to have that happen because they're not going to have a champion removed from the game when people have spent real world money to buy skins and etc. So in a lot of ways, that sort of stuff gives characters plot armor for story sort of things. But then it just, because everyone's aware of that, I guess it makes it more interesting to wonder how they solve their differences or, like what actually ends up happening. Because in a weird way, I do wonder often, what if they she finds something to change Revenant and she makes him get to peace and less of an arsehole or something, you know what I mean? Like maybe they could change the character slightly but not actually delete him from the game. Him from the game, but what are your overall thoughts on Loba in the game so far from playing and as a character personality?
Yeah, she's an actual another support character, which we haven't had other than Lifeline, really. I mean, I know they initially had Pathfinder as support, but he definitely wasn't. Her big black market ability is really useful, especially early on where you can just pull big important weapons, hopefully if you're in a good spot. And her ability to see rare items is good. I feel it'd be good if she could tag them from a bit further away. I think that would be a helpful thing, even so you can just tell what it is. But yeah, her traversal ability is really cool and cool to get the drop on people. And I think you had a thing where you jumped through a window that you wouldn't normally have been able to get through and surprised a bunch of people and took them all out.
Yeah. Had a peacekeeper came through the window. Surprise, motherfucker!
Not a peacekeeper.
It was massive. Sorry. Yes. We'll get to that in a second. But no, I think Loba's great. I'm having an absolute blast. I was so hyped for her coming in just because her introduction, her story, everything. She just all of her trailers were kick ass and she just looked super interesting. So I was already pretty hyped to play her, but it also helps when she's actually fun to play. And her tactical, I can't remember the official name. I should have had it in front of me. It doesn't matter. But the tactical to throw the bracelet and teleport herself around is really fun and really good to use. At the moment, there's a bug for it, which I think they're going to fix soon, unless it's been fixed by the time this post. Where if you're sliding or you begin sliding or something like that, and it kind of cancels you being able to throw it or whatever, even if you've thrown it or something. So there's a weird bug there that kind of stops certain cool plays from happening. But other than that, when that's fixed, it'll just add a lot more maneuverability to it, because I guess a lot of the times I see people who haven't played with her much, or maybe the first game, it's like come to a sudden standstill, like aim somewhere, fucking throw. But obviously she's a lot more.
Well, I feel like they don't want to make her too mobile, like a similar thing to what they did with Pathfinder, where they've made his ability, the cooldown, a bit longer, so they don't have too much of an unfair advantage at certain points. So she has to stand still before she gets teleported, is like a slight like chink in her armor, I guess, to a certain degree, that opens herself up to attack and that kind of thing. But yeah,
I already feel like it's not too powerful anyway, simply because like even when it doesn't matter if she's moving or not, when you're aiming, it doesn't let you keep a gun up, so you lose all way to fight back if anyone starts shooting at you while you're aiming that thing, right? And then when you throw it, depending on how far you throw it, it's like waiting. You know, like if you want to go the full 70 meters, I think it's like the top on it. If you want to go the full thing, you have to wait. So you can just get killed in that time if you're not careful. And then even when you land, it's 99% of the time probably not a good way to play with her is to throw it super aggressively, because when you land, there's like that 1 to 2 seconds of her landing and then the animation before she gets her gun out, which is similar to the way they counter Wraith's ability, her tactical, to make it that you can't use her super aggressively, is that when she comes out of her tactical, she has like 1 to 2 seconds or whatever it is of before she pulls out a gun. So that's how they get around all these abilities becoming too strong, is they just make it that if you run into a bunch of enemies, you're going to die. Like if you throw Loba's fucking tactical on top of a roof to try and kill someone, but they know they hear and see you coming, which it is very easy to hear and see her Loba coming. It's just like she'll land and then it's like bang, you're dead. You know? So I feel like there are good times to use it aggressively if you pick your spots, or if there's a hectic fight happen and people can't really see where you're coming, or obviously if the enemy doesn't actually know where you're coming from. So like when I threw myself in that room, they had no idea where I was, and next second I was just kind of there, and I caught them very much off guard. But if people see you and you just chuck yourself in front of them, you're going to die. So most of the time you're going to use it for repositioning or a way to escape or whatnot, but it's not like a super aggressive ability. I think it's like the cooldown on it's already fine. I've no problem. I don't think it's overpowered. I don't think it's underpowered. I think it's fine, you know? And I would be okay if you could do it while... I'd be okay if you could aim it while like running, like a grenade. Because I feel like you're still only going to get that max 70. It's not really going to extend it. It's not like you could do some weird move to throw it. I don't know. I feel like could make it too worse. And then her ultimate is, of course, quite handy. And there's a clip I saw on Reddit where people stole the gold-kitted weapon out of a drop package using her ultimate, which is the dream at this stage, to pull off something similar to that. Yeah, that's the ultimate goal for Loba players. And then the other thing I'm loving about her though is the other thing they've added for this season is they're like, oh, different characters now are going to have these key lines and interactions and stuff, which I feel like they had to add simply between Loba and Brevnet. And then when they had to add it for those two characters, they were like, oh, might as well do it for a bunch of other characters that are friendly or not friendly with each other kind of thing. So makes sense, and it adds a lot more fun and different banter to the game. But yeah, it's when you're playing Loba and there's a Revenant on the team, and there's that one time, I think it was you, or maybe it was you, I don't know, but someone's playing Revenant, and it's like picked up something and then clicked thank you as Revenant, and then Revenant was like, thank you, Loba, in like the most like sarcastic sort of voice. And then when it comes up, say replies her, she's like, shut up, demon, you know, like all this stuff. I hate your face, basically. So I'm loving the interactions between her and Revenant. Just it adds a lot to the game to have the characters and personalities shine through while you're playing even more, because of course as soon as you get into the game, and no matter what character you're playing as, I feel like you can kind of easily, like, suddenly you're in first person, you forget you don't forget who you're playing, but you lose the personality of them, especially if you're like, look at the sick skin I've got now. I'm playing the game first person, and I don't get to see it myself and whatever else. So to have these cool little interactions and to have that part of the story, I think that's great. So yeah, on the map, we're back at Kings Canyon, or a version of Kings Canyon. I think it's cool. I still haven't really fully got it mapped out in my head. That's probably still going to take some more time.
No.
But I like the major changes to it. I like the fact that they just blew up Skull Town, because that proved to me, Respawn as a developer isn't afraid of just kind of, for the sake of moving the game forward, just blowing up a lot of people's favorite place to land. Yeah, and they're like, well, you know what? We're just going to blow it up. So
it happens.
Like this is what's happening for the story. So I kind of like that. And the thing is that if they do any weird events in the future, you know, like they do fun events or whatever, they could always roll back season 1 Kings Canyon like they've done previously for people to hit with the nostalgia or whatever. But when we're playing on like I guess if you want to call it like the canon version of where the story's at map, I'm glad to see that they're not afraid of just doing big swings and different sorts of things. Yeah, how are you feeling about the map overall? Because I barely played season 2.
No, yeah, I think most of my game time's been on World's End Edge. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't hold much nostalgia for Kings Canyon. I definitely didn't like Skull Town because everybody would drop there and then would die in like 5 minutes. So good riddance. I mean, it's interesting. The obviously the design of the new section where it's been blown up with like the skull being craned out of this ocean. You can land on it, but there doesn't seem to be anything there, and there's like a zip line across to it, but there seems to be nothing there, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it seems mostly the same. Obviously, there's changes to like the relay or whatever. They seem to be building something over in the wetlands relay section. So
yeah,
looks good.
Yeah, there's lots of little things that are just like spread out. You're like, well, what's happening here? What's happening here? What's going on with this? Like, for starters, who and why is even trying to excavate the skull? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why?
Why?
Why is this a thing that's happening anyway?
Why didn't that massive skull get destroyed in that massive explosion?
It's a very strong
How
skull.
is it still in one piece?
Very strong skull, you know? Don't
Yeah.
know? And then even other things, like you go down into Sing Labs, and then slowly each season they keep adding more and more to that. Now there's another entry/exit to it. They just slowly keep opening up different places of that and where they're going to take it and whatever else. It just makes me wonder if something's eventually going to be built on this map as well. Maybe it's connected to Sing Labs or like some sort of new portal, but like a different interdimensional type situation happening. Because I guess the other thing for the map before moving on quickly is the charge stations are cool. I like them. I know I've seen on internet they're kind of, some people hate them, some people don't like them. I like the charge stations. I like how you can literally just walk up and get your ultimate real quick. I think people are just getting salty because they're doing it, and then an enemy team like comes down and kills them while they're activating it. It's like, well, it's risk reward. Why are you getting mad, bro? You know? So, and certain characters, it's like, don't worry about it. But other characters where the ultimates are so good, it may be worth taking the risk to do it, especially if you think you're going to be in a team fight soon. But the story implications and whatever going on this season, tying it into the quest stuff. Now, we're recording this before the first proper quest drops. The first PvE night raid thing comes out. So, and I'm very keen for that. But from where it looks at the moment, through the prologue and just what's happening on the map, I really don't know what's happening. Because I liked the prologue story thing. My only complaint about it is that they didn't have the actual voice actors voice acting the lines. But I think the reason they've done that at first, I was like, oh, this is silly. Maybe it's because people couldn't record in COVID-19, like all this sort of times. I think they haven't had the voices because part of the plot is trying to guess who's
the snitch.
Who's the snitch? Exactly. So I guess if you have everyone doing the voice actors, it kind of helps narrow down potentially who's there and who's not there, especially the main characters. So that actually does make sense. I got angry quickly and then was like, wait,
you've got all these awesome voice actors. Why are we reading?
Yeah, I was like, hold on. This is kind of all adding up to make sense now. So the story that we're going for this season is Loba is looking for an artifact. She doesn't explain what that artifact is. All she does is explain it's going to help them and people should help her and it's going to be great and let's come help me get this artifact or it'll everyone will help take down fucking Hammond and whatever else, and everyone's like, cool, sounds great. But don't tell Revenant. And then at the end of the prologue, someone snitches and takes a note to Revenant. So that's the core thing I got from that. But other than that, we really don't know what this artifact is.
Yeah.
What it's going to do, where it comes from. Now, obviously, it has to have something to do with Revenant. I would potentially say, now to tie this into what I was just saying before, with the whole Sing Labs and the different portal and stuff. I think maybe she's looking for a way to open a portal to a different dimension because I think that's maybe where Revenant's head got taken at the end of the opening clip. Because the Apex Titanfall universe does literally delve a lot into just being able to transfer between different universes and whatever. Rafe is literally a character whose ability is just being able to run
through different dimensions,
in between dimensions, to the point that if you ever slow down her ultimate, her tactical as she's running through it, you'll literally just see other wraiths running past, which are in different dimensions.
Yeah, and if you watch the whatever animation of her story, that they explain that's a thing that happens.
Yeah, she gets saved by herself. So
yeah,
like it's from a different dimension. So, and her passive is literally voices from the void, which is other versions traveling through the void, being like, "Hey, I just passed you and saw there's enemies over there. All right, back to my world. Off I go." So that's a lot of what the game story revolves around, and I feel like maybe they've transferred Revenant's real head to a different dimension, and then she's maybe looking for a way to get to it, because that's the only thing that kind of makes sense to me at this stage. Because if they simply transferred it to a different planet, she'd be like, all right, peace out, I'm going to go to the different planet to track it down. But if she needs an artifact to be able to get there, a secret way to get there, that would kind of add up for why she's hanging around the park. Because at the moment it's like, why is she staying there? Why is she hanging around the park when she does hang around the Apex games when she doesn't need to? Yeah. What do you think of all the?
Yeah, obviously she needs something inside the world of Apex to get at Revenant, which is her main goal. Unless she's got like some bigger schemes in hand. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Obviously, we know very little, and I'd be interested to see how the story is told from this point forward. Whether there's more of these prelude text-based stories, or there's actual cutscenes in the quests, because they're all going to be replayable again as many times as you want us to unlock the stuff that they just won't drop and that kind of thing. But is it gonna how are these quests going to work? Is the question that I've got going forward, and how is the story going to be told?
Yeah. Do they get told throughout the quest? Do I get told like at a cutscene before and after?
Yeah.
Or are they different on a week to week basis? Like literally everyone's
its own separate
sort of
thing
happening. Yeah, it's interesting time, especially because this is like Apex has played around with PvE stuff before, but this is the first time they've done a full sort of. This is a co-op mode. Like. This is what this is, and it's a story-based co-op mode. It's as close as the game's got to having a single-player campaign, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this is about the story. Play it with your friends. Play it solo if you want. How do we feel about how you go to unlock this stuff? So to get the weekly night raids, the weekly story content, you have to get these treasure packs, and you can get one treasure pack a day by finding them in any loot box in the game, and they're not hard to find. You'll find a million of them, and you probably get it in your first game. If not, you probably didn't open enough boxes, or someone else found one, forgot to ping it for you because I was being mean and didn't bother asking.
Or they needed it.
Or they needed it, I guess. Maybe that was a thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you feel about the treasure packs and having to get them? Because
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it kind of forces you to, kind of makes you play the game every single day to get that treasure pack on top of getting your dailies and that kind of thing. I think it's a good thing to reward replete players. You only have to play it 5 times a week, so I mean, it's not that difficult. You would think to jump in
5 out of
7. 5 out of 7. Or to play day one. I mean, you could even, the thing's going to be open for 96 days or whatever. So, I mean, you could just wait till.
Yeah.
You could probably wait till the very end to unlock everything and then, to play everything.
You can wait till the end and you can get your treasure packs like naturally. You can jump in halfway through and start playing, get your treasure packs and catch up and do them. Like, you don't actually have to play these things week to week. You can jump in and spend the Apex coins just to catch up. You can literally jump in, never play Apex the whole season, jump in and be like, all right, here's my Apex coins, give me all the fucking treasure packs I need. Cool, now can I play all the raids? Cool, off we go. But the one thing that makes this system okay, as far as I'm concerned, kinda, is that you can play the raids, like raids or quests, whatever you want to call them. You can play them with your friends, even if they haven't unlocked enough treasure packs for it. However, you can invite them. Only the person or peoples that have got enough treasure packs to have unlocked it on their game will then get the rewards at the end of it. However, everyone can play them as long as they've got one friend who's unlocked it and can invite you to it. So I feel like having that as a key thing here makes it like, it's not so bad. Like, because I hate when any free-to-play games or MMOs or whatever, they do the thing where they're like, and obviously a lot of them are built around like, we want you to come back daily and play our game, come back daily, play our game. That's how a lot of these systems are built, which is fine to a point. I just feel like there should always be a sort of safety net. And I feel like having this here where your friends can invite you, you just won't get the rewards. It's like, well, you'll get the content. You just won't get the rewards. And that's fair, because it's like the people getting the rewards are the people who've put in the work. But if you don't want to do that, or you can't do that because you're too busy, but you just want to play it anyway and experience it, you can still do that. So I feel like it's a nice middle ground for everything that's happening.
I mean, there's also incentive that you get rewards every time you get a treasure pack every day. You get like XP or
extra rewards,
Apex points or whatever. So
yeah, for sure. Two other small things to talk about from the major patch changes coming into Season 5. I'm not going to go over the full patch notes, but the two key things I think are, one, Mirage changes. Major Mirage changes. Now, I haven't played him since the change, but you have put a lot of...
I put some time into him, yeah.
You've put some time into him. So do you want to explain the major Mirage changes and then what you think of...
Well, the major... When you send out a duplicate, one, it doesn't stop at a ledge. It keeps going. That's a nice plus. Because sometimes I just drop him and then it would just stop like a meter away from me. Like, fuck, this isn't very good. But you can also take control of your duplicate. So it will mirror you however distance it is, to be more lifelike, I guess, in its directions and movement and that kind of thing. So it's easier to fool people. The other big important change is when you're going to revive people, you and the person you're reviving go invisible, get hidden. So that is like a big help. I think we've seen people walk straight past someone trying to revive somebody, and because they're because they're hidden, they walk straight past, didn't notice them, and then they go and shoot them in the back. It's great. So yeah, those are the two big changes. Obviously, controlling duplicates makes it easier to bamboozle people, and then the revival thing is like makes Mirage like a really helpful healer and that kind of stuff.
Well, his ulti, they made the things a bit more like spread out, and they're doing stuff now, didn't they?
Yeah, he moves around a bit more. I haven't really used the ulti much.
I think every time I've seen someone use it, the main takeaway I have is the drones aren't just like this cluster of you know, because
they go all over the place, and it seems like it's much harder to get Mirage, like the proper one.
Yeah, it's hard to guess which is actually the real one, because it's much more like he spawns a Mirage of like you'd see on his party boat, like where they're doing stuff and whatever. They actually look more lifelike compared to before. It was just a bunch of dudes standing around you, like just running, huddle, and you'd try to escape out the side or something like that. Yeah. I think but the key thing I would say for the Mirage thing is like his tactical's a lot cooler now. I've definitely been bamboozled by people controlling it and running past and whatever else, and that's cool. Have to learn to get used to it again. The healing thing, people I've seen online complaining about it being too broken or whatever. I'm of the mindset that it's not broken. We're just not used to it, and once people get used to it, it won't not be good. It will simply be a lot more counterable because you can still hear people getting revived. And like if someone's getting revived,
they can still get shot.
Yeah, you can still literally shoot them. So if you hear someone getting revived literally at your feet, and instead of going, oh, that's a weird sound glitch, and moving on, just shoot the fucking ground and you'll kill them. Like, it really is that simple. So I don't think it's broken. I just think it's something that people need to get used to, adapt to, and this is just something that we're going to have happen in the game a lot. I think every time a new champion comes in, sometimes depending on the power, people are going to be like, oh, that's broken. It's not broken. A lot of times it's just going to be we're not used to it, so people complain it's broken, and then they get used to it, and it's like, okay, well, it's fine now, because I never understood how it works. So it's of course it's broken because people jump to broken as the key thing to complain about anything for.
It's just different.
Yeah.
It's like the Pathfinder changes. Like you'll get used to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I haven't played Pathfinder since the changes. No, I wasn't a major Pathfinder player anyway, but yeah. Major nerf. They changed his ulti from his tactical from was it like 16 seconds, something like that, to 30 seconds. But they doubled it, which I think is fine and the reason they gave for it is basically they were like, people in long team fights, the fact that Pathfinder could multiple times just swing around was too much. So it's like if you're still having a long-ish team fight, you'll be able to now use it like twice, 3 times, But before it was like
you won't be able to drop in, shoot a bunch of people, then
shoot
swing
and
out,
escape. Yeah,
heal up and then come back in.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like it's a fair change personally. And then the one other thing that affected me the most was the massive Peacekeeper thing, because I like a Peacekeeper, like a shotgun to the face type thing. So what they've done is they've literally just switched them. So Peacekeeper is now what you will find in drops, and the Mastiff is now the random gun that you'll be able to find out and about where you'd pick up Peacekeepers. And this was the change that made the most sense, and the example I gave you the first night I was playing is anytime I had a Peacekeeper and I would walk up and open a care package and see a Mastiff in there, it would run towards it, be like, oh, a golden gun, and I was hoping it was Devotion, and then it would be like Peacekeeper, Mastiff, and I'll be like, yeah, nah, I got a Peacekeeper. Why do I care? And I think that literally is the reason why they had to change, because anytime a normal gun is not as exciting as a fully kitted gold special one that you can only get from drops, they should probably just change places.
Yeah,
that's.
I mean, it makes sense. I've seen people upset that the changes happened, but I feel like the goods gun's hidden away now. Yeah. So I mean, from a gameplay perspective, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's fine, and also the Mastiff, I've been playing with it a lot more now because I'll just find it and pick it up, and it's. I would say it still does. I'd pick it over the Evo. It's still, but the Evo, the 8, Evo 8?
Evo 8,
yeah. I'd still pick it over that because I'm not a big fan of that gun, but the Mastiff it still does decent amount of damage. It just gives a lot more wiggle room for error in missing your shots.
Got a very wide.
Yeah. And the reload time's a little bit better than the
It's got a bigger clip and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The Peacekeeper was literally high skill level, but
it was an end game
damage
weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the go-to in pro games. Shortened it to PK. I mean, if the gun's being shortened, it's being used a lot.
Yes. And it's fair because it was, especially for pros who could hit 99% of their shots with it, it's a gun where if you hit with it, it fucking hurts. But the negative side was not big clip size, long load time, like these sorts of things. That was supposed to counterbalance. However, if you could use it, it hurt. If you hit your shots with it, it damn well hurt. So I'm fine with that change. Of course, I'm not super... I don't feel like there's anything in this game I'm ever going to feel super... I say this now and then something will change and it'll really piss me off. But at the moment, I can't really think of any sort of gun or something that, as long as it's got a good reason between it before it being changed or, updated, changed or whatever, or even the character thing, I'm like, as long as there's a good reason behind it and you can read the patch notes and be like, yeah, that does make sense, then I'm not going to get too angry about anything changes. And they do have to, even if it annoys casual players, they do have to sometimes just change stuff for competitive play. And that unfortunately may affect casual players, but that's just how any sort of game that has a competitive side works. That's just the way it goes. They're not going to be like, oh, we changed it, so only when you're playing in competitive tournaments, the Peacekeepers now and they fucking drop and the Mastiffs in the wild. Like, that's silly. No, it's they have to change it, not in the whole game. That's just how the game works. So, yeah. Any other random things that you've liked or disliked season 5 so far?
No, I think we've covered most stuff. I mean, working the way through the battle pass, reading the stories and that kind of stuff, and like the images and that kind of thing of Loba dropping in, and I think it's Bangalore talking about her first arrival after the events of that trailer. I mean, it's interesting so far. So I think I'm only like level 10 on the battle pass at the moment, so keen to get more of that. I mean, it looks good. Keen to learn more.
Yeah, I'm a fan too, and I can't. I don't like lock in if I'm going to do, depending on how story heavy the night raids are, will depend on how often I feel like we need to
put out episodes.
put out episode to discuss it. So that'll just be a thing going forward. The first one drops literally 15 hours as of recording this, just to sort of time code this one. So they'll come out, see what that's like, decide what to do then, blah, 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 blah. But also this is the first episode, so I do just want to kind of reiterate the show structure for this, which is whenever, however, they could be short, they could be long, they could be fucking 15 minutes, they could be half an hour like this one, they could be an hour, they could just have me, it could have Ash, it could have other people, who fucking knows how it's going to work. It's literally whenever the Apex gods scream that an episode should be out, that's how this show is going to work. And if you're listening to this and you've also listened to like our other show, Arcade Couch, where we talked about Apex Legends sometimes, and you're like, well, does that mean you're not going to talk about it in there? No. The breakdown to me is this. Like as of recording today, there was a story about Respawn Studios opening in another studio to work on Apex Legends game, potentially. That is something I would cover, and we will cover in Arcade Couch. This show is solely going to be talking about the actual game, not the development of it, not the behind the scenes of it. Like, we're going to be talking about the story, we're going to be talking about what's actually happening in the game, the stuff we're actually playing. That is the purpose of this podcast. And not to say we can't talk about that on Arcade Couch if something major happens, and like we want to discuss it, we can talk about it in two places. But this is diving in, talking about the fucking map changes, the story stuff, the quests, the treasure, like stuff that we'd go to, Mirage changes, fucking Peacekeeper, Mastiff swaps. This is what this is. Now we'll be back here in a couple of days talking about how great the story content that thing was. I don't know. We'll stay tuned to find out. But I'll do it for the first episode of Apex Predators. You can find the show on all podcast services if that's how you're listening to it, not how you're listening to it. You can also find it on YouTube if that's how you're listening to it and or not listening to it. If you'd like one or the other and you're listening to it / watching it in one and you'd prefer the other, go find your perfect place to partake in Apex Predators. You can figure it out yourself. You can follow all of us on Twitter by heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. Check out explosionnetwork.com for more stuff, including Arcade Couch, which I just mentioned, which is our weekly video game podcast. And until next episode, I don't really have an outro sorted for the show. Help me think of one before the next one. Bye.